Well, welcome friends and family. So good to see you again tonight as we stare out on the front porch to see what comes visiting in the darkness of the night. And there he is, Spooky, the largest of my 3-yard panthers, ever vigilant and on the lookout for what may come visiting to his front porch and the little bit of food that they've gratefully left for his visitors that may come throughout the night. Yeah, he's looking out there. He knows something is a prowl. He's got the wind, the breeze. He's going to take a little bit of a drink of water and look around. Yeah, he's a good old boy. He's always on the lookout and always on the guard. Comes over to check the door one final time before he sits down again to peer out into the darkness of the night. I wonder what he thinks he sees, what he hears. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I'm thinking something's on the prowl, and something will come visiting tonight as he wanders off to the shop to lay his head down. The wind keeps a-blowing. The breeze keeps a-tussling the leaves as we await our first visitor, which might be another kitty too. Or could it be a much stranger animal? Oh, well, there it is. Who knew? Well, that's a strange looking kitty, if I ever saw one, with a long bear-like tail, got a fine coat, and a long snout. Well, if you don't know, that's a cousin, the North American cousin, that is, to the kangaroo. Yes, it is. It's a possum, the only marsupial found in North America. Yes, it is. And it's a quite misunderstood little animal that will do you no harm. And they really have a great purpose in the ecosystem. They eat a lot of things. They're an omnivore. They eat grubs, insects, beetles, and such, but they also eat decaying stuff, such as carcasses and such. But as you can see, she's enjoying some kitten caboodle too. Yes, she is. Quite hungry. And like a kangaroo, since she's a marsupial, she bears her young in a pouch. And as they get older and exit the pouch, she carries them either on her belly for a time while they're still small, and I've even seen them riding on top, like we do when we ride a horse or a burro. But she's tipping that plate up to get every morsel closer to her. And this is time-lapse photography, and this spans over a great time. What you're seeing is a condensed version of it. That's why her movements are not so smooth, because it's not a video. The camera is snapping a snapshot every 15 seconds as she visits us on the front porch. But yes, like I say, the possum is so misunderstood. And they're hated by many. Some think they carry rabies, but that's quite rare because they have a slightly lower body temperature. But people will say they froth at the mouth and growl and hiss when they're confronted. Well, yes, they do. And if you read up on the possums, that's a defense mechanism that they use to scare off predators. And if they're put into a bind, they will fall over and play dead, hence the name and the saying to play possum. But you saw she came over and gave Papa Tom a little kiss before she jumped down, circled around, and she's back at the plate again. Will she leave any for the rest of the kitty crew that comes in the darkness of the night? We'll just have to wait and see. But they're quite beautiful animals, and they don't smell. Now, yeah, in their search for grubs and acorns and whatever else is out in the yard, you'll know if you have a possum, because you'll see these small 1.5 inch holes. But it doesn't do any harm. It actually helps aerate the ground. Yes, it does. Plus it gets rid of the harmful grubs that eat up the roots of the grasses that you're trying to grow. I'm not much of a yard aficionado anymore. I sort of let nature take over and grow. But I respect all wildlife. And this young female possum has a place in the grand scheme of things that God placed here for all of us. She has her job to do in the darkness of the night. And yes, they are quite nocturnal. It's rare to see them in the daylight. So off she goes again, but something else is coming up to the plate. And who might it be? Well, it's Mr. Fluffy Muffet that's come a-visiting, as you can see. And he's a quite majestic cat. He's part of the late night kitty crew with his bobtail. Looks like he may have some Siamese in him. He's quite fluffy too. And if you look at him closely, he's got some of the same coloring, almost, as Mrs. Possum, that has darted out and back into the darkness of the late night. And you can see Fluffy. He's rather alert, and he's quite feral. He won't come around humans, so I'm thinking someone did him wrong. But every night, I leave out some kibble for him too, as well as Dusty, which may or may not come around tonight. And of course the ever-elusive Heathcliff too. But I do this. I set the camera out from time to time just to see what will come in the darkness of the night. You never know what you'll find. I'm quite proud that I have a marsupial on the place. Not sure where her home is, but if I had to guess, it's probably up in the bamboo forest. And you can see, even in the lateness of the night, cars speeding by. And Fluffy keeps looking out. If something's afoot, something's making a noise. But you can see he's quite hungry. And that's why I do it. To care for those who have no one to care for them left. And plus, look at those paws. How big they are. And all surrounded by white tufts. A quite elegant kitty, if I do say so myself. But I wanted to share with you tonight what comes in the darkness of the night on my little piece of paradise in the deep south of Alabama, and what we care for and hold dear and tight. For we should all appreciate all the animals, both in the daylight and the night, for they are all creatures of God, placed here for a reason only He knows. Thank you for watching, and good night.